there, welcome to Born Steady on Don't Deny the Power TV, part 3, the final one. What we're going to do today, it's not going to be an interview really, we're going to do like a chat show. Jill and me. And we're up to really, we spoke about Jill's childhood, her family, church, career, and now we're going to talk about when we first got together, dating, engagement and marriage. So Jill, just share with everybody about what you was going through, bit of change, spoke with Eddie and Judy. It's a good story.
Yeah, I was based in Leeds actually, which was a great 3 years really of my life. So serving in the house in a church in Leeds, and there's a great couple there called Eddie and Judy. So I give them a bit of a shout out, Eddie and Judy. And they've got a great sort of history in terms of being within church for maybe 30, maybe 40 years now, in the church that they were in locally. And I think they were elders there, so I hope that's right. But also in their professional careers, that they had got experience in terms of family counselling and all of that. So they had all that background training and history, yeah, experience. So they weren't just sort of crazy people in church giving you advice for no reason. So my family and I were invited to dinner at their house, which was very kind, very nice, and just in conversation. I think once you get into your early 30s, I think people in church want to do a little bit of matchmaking potentially, don't they? Or they think, oh, why is this person single? You know, but if anybody's been around church for a long time, it's quite unusual that people can be single for a long time. And this evening when we were having dinner, I think this sort of went along this conversation, and they were offering a bit of advice really as what they had said to single people in regards to maybe just writing down their top 10 things of what they were looking for in a partner. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And they had actually said that the people that had done this top 10 list had actually probably met the person that they were going to marry within, I can't remember if it was 6 months or 12 months, nearly every single person that had done that. And I thought, oh, wow, that's quite interesting, isn't it? I think, you know, if you think about what the Bible says, it says, you know, about the vision, write it down. And I think most of us, if we're honest, we probably don't do that.
And maybe, if I can just say,
yeah.
I think sometimes you can then maybe close doors in your personal life to many different reasons. And when you write stuff down, it opens and awakens and almost gives God's permission to move in that area, you know? Yeah, I think that's true. I think, so I sort of, you know, listened, took on board what they said and thought, well, that's quite interesting. I think I'm going to do that. And for me, it was interesting because as I started to write things down about what I would be looking for, they were actually quite simple things. They weren't complicated stuff, you know. It was like loving God, loving my family. I have to be number one, and I don't mean number one in terms of no other thoughts in the day, but I wouldn't want to be somebody's second choice, because I think, you know, the challenges in life and relationships and in yourself, I don't think that's really fair to put on somebody that you'll be number second choice. So obviously there were other things as well. That's great. And then I've shared on how I dropped everything, came down, your mum was ill, we started communicating more, and then tell the people as we're talking more and more what you was thinking. Yeah, you see, that's funny, isn't it? Because it wasn't sort of an immediate thing either, because I think, I'm trying to think in regards to when I wrote the list and when my mum was ill now, I probably have to trace that back, because it was over 2 separate times, but I think it was after my mum had been ill. And it's interesting, isn't it? I would probably say this is probably an important point, that we can form opinions, ideas, thoughts about other people based upon how other people see them or treat them, whether that's good or bad. And I think often we have to look at somebody and get to know somebody ourselves not based upon other people's opinions.
Don't judge a book by the cover.
I would say so. And how does God see us? How does God look upon us? And if we're not looking at somebody else with that perspective, then maybe it's distorted. And I think I had to probably look at that, one, from my own perspective of how I viewed other people, based upon my own thoughts, and based upon how other people treat others as well. So I think I'd probably formed opinions about Terry, one from his past, his upbringing very different to mine, his experiences in life, and perhaps how other people did view that as well. You know, Terry's always on fire for God, always passionate, but also he moved away. So, you know, we all have, and there's quite a difference in our age, there's 10 years difference. So I think
tell the people how you started to feel and what you said, or I'll say it.
Oh, well, it's not just a one-point journey. I think that was really important
But that one point's good.
So thank you, that's very kind of you to say. But yeah, it was, I think, as I'd written this list, and as I was sort of knowing that a season was coming to an end and had been for a while in my life, I was just thinking, oh, okay, well, there is this person for me, Lord. And then it was funny how time went on, and it wasn't an overnight thing, that it was almost the possibility that, oh my gosh, it could be Terry Eckersley. That could be the one that the Lord had me. I thought, oh no, it can't be Terry Eckersley, because I've known Terry for a long time. And, you know, I think we also think once we've known somebody, if there's no immediate, you know, spark maybe, that maybe this isn't the right person. So I would say, I would challenge anybody that maybe you have already met the person.
They might be right under your nose.
And it may be because you are misjudging or not being open to the fact. Now we're not going down the crazy weird path of looking at everybody that they could be a potential partner, because that's odd. But, you know, and I think as well you were quite, because we were friends, you were quite cautious. I was quite cautious about going to the next level in terms of that, because we didn't want to spoil any friendship that we did have. So we were like the cautious people, but respectful with that.
Yeah, because I'd been part of the family, and Jill and I were growing in our friendship. Jill was falling in love with me. She's not said that yet, but she was. I was falling in love with her, and I'm like, if anything, I was very back foot on it. I was, wasn't I? I was back foot praying. I know Jill was praying back foot. And then what was very interesting, because then Jill, we were getting closer. She came to a big national organisation of a Christian charity that I was chief exec for a part of that branch. And she started exploring the point of doing some work within that movement, maybe abroad in America and maybe in the UK. And then it opened up for her to come and serve me. I was chief exec, she was coming as a volunteer to do some music classes for 3 months. And her boss thought, and they even said, I think, you're not going to come back.
Yeah.
So I'll tell the story from my side, then we'll flip back to Jill. Mm-hmm. So we're obviously, she's working for me. So you've got the work boundary. The organisation was flourishing, growing, doing really well. And then what was interesting, what did it for me, because I was falling in love with Jill. And then a friend came over, Pascal, I'll give him a shout. And we met, chatted, and we prayed together. And as he prayed, I'd not told him anything about for my wife. And as he did, I just started weeping under the power of God. And I knew Jill was going to be my wife. So I had like the gift of faith then. I had the gift of faith then that we were going to get married. So it was like, okay, how do I do this, Lord? And I even prayed and said, Lord, help me. I've got this together, that together, this together. It's all great, but I'm not really good at this dating, engagement, marriage thing. And I asked the Lord for wisdom on it, and he gave me great wisdom. And then it was like the week before Jill was meant to go back, when the 3 months were coming to an end. And I said, oh, well, I've got some plans, I'll let you know at the weekend. And I'll let you tell the rest.
Yeah, well, that was, I'd taken 3 months out of my work. So, as you said, that was coming to an end. And I think, we were still a little bit on that cautious side of, what do we do next? I was perfectly, understandable if I came back home. But, God had other plans, and so did Terry. Excuse me.
Tell the story.
So we were, it was one particular weekend. Terry says, right, pack a bag, we're going to go away somewhere. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. And my first thoughts were, because we were going into London, is that we were going to go to Hillsong, London, that weekend. So I thought, that's great, that's very kind. Or jokingly, on the train into London, Terry's saying, because he'd said, bring your passport. So I'm thinking, okay, what does he mean? Is that a joke? So then he said, we're going to go to Blackpool. So I thought, oh, great, we're going to Blackpool. So anyway, we went into London. We checked our luggage at Waterloo, left it there, which was only a small bag anyway. And then we went into one of my favourite parts of London, which is sort of Regent Street, Bond Street, all that area. I love that part. And we went to a lovely restaurant called I think it's Chickalone's. And we were sat outside. It was September time. September 17th, I believe it was, or 22nd. No, September 17th is your birthday, 22nd then. And we were sort of just, we ordered something to eat. It was quite noisy. Sat on the sidewalk. And then we got into conversation. Terry's asking me, a little bit like a work review, really.
I'll take you back now. So what I did, I started saying, well, Jill, how are you getting on with your colleagues? How are you getting on with the work you've been doing? It was like a regular work review. And have you been getting on with me? And how do you feel about me? So she's answering these questions. And then I said, well, I've got a proposals to make on this, where we're at on this information and where we're going. And I love you very much, and I propose we get married. And
That's
Jill
right.
nearly fell off a chair, burst out laughing.
I did laugh because, one, it was just unexpected, and I thought, oh my gosh, I thought we were just having some sort of conversation here. We're eating a sandwich. As I said, we sat on the side of they've got tables and chairs around the side of the restaurant. There's like an Italian couple talking really loudly. There's the waiter's station, somebody else. And as Terry's saying this, I'm thinking, it's like everything got loud, but everything got really quiet as well at the same time. And I could see, I don't know if people remember the Blue Peter presenter, Andy Peters, was stood on the corner near the Abercrombie and Fitch corner. And I'm thinking, all of this in like a moment really. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's just sort of proposed. I'm like, oh. And then he said, well, you better make your mind up, because I've already booked an appointment at Tiffany's on Bond Street around the corner.
That clinched the deal.
And I thought, well, it's a yes then from me. So, yes, and he also said, I've also booked first class on Eurostar to Paris. So I thought, well, it'd be rude to say nothing but yes. So it was a yes.
We went into Tiffany's. I whispered a budget in Jill's ear, let her pick her own ring. That's good advice. She did. Then we went straight to Paris. I said, 2 first class tickets to Paris. They said Eurostar. I said, well, I've been on television, but I'm not Tommy Cooper. It's a joke. And we got there, separate rooms. I must say, we led a very chaste, holy dating period. I only kissed Jill after we got engaged.
That's true.
I'm telling you right now.
True.
Because why would you kiss somebody if you were going to marry them? And I think that's where we'll come to a close now, because we're coming up to the end of the trilogy. And then after this, we'll do another one about how we've run our marriage in unity, faith, prayer. And that's helped us massively, and it'll help people out there. So we love you, from Terry and
Jill Eckersley.